official funeral today. He said that his wife honored their marriage vows made more than 40 years ago.
Hlengiwe, I have not experienced you reacting in a devaluating manner. Whenever there are issues of disagreement between you as the chairperson and me as the CEO of our household, this experience has been fulfilling and preserved the vows we took 43 years ago, culminating in what Mahatma Gandhi calls the unembittered parting of ways. Hlengiwe, you submitted yourself to the Lord, and all should be at rest. Painful to accept your departure, even if you are comfortable with it, as Maya Angelou said. Thus, we are not going to detain you in any form, as our Lord has granted you authority to start walking towards the Holy Land. Hlengiwe, my roommate, your departure is perfect and final, as it is not reviewable nor appealable.
Let's stay with the story. President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered the eulogy, passing his deepest condolences to the Mkhize family. Ramaphosa said the late deputy minister had been an extraordinary public servant who served with great diligence. The president spoke at the Fourways Memorial Park Chapel in Johannesburg as family and friends bid their last farewell to the late 69-year-old deputy minister. We're now joined in studio by our reporter Zikhona Tshona, who attended the funeral today. Zikhona, a somber moment at the funeral today as the president led the tributes. How was the late professor being described?
I think since Wednesday when we attended the memorial service, the sentiment has been the same, that she's been an example as a leader, that she led with dignity, that she fought for the rights, particularly of the most vulnerable. We know that at the time of her passing, she was in the presidency as Minister for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. So the civil rights groups which spoke at the memorial spoke very warmly about her championing their voices and making sure that government hears what persons with disabilities have to say about policies, for example, what government has to say about issues surrounding women, particularly with gender-based violence. So today that sentiment was shared with people saying, some describing her as a hero, someone who led with honesty, the president said, and we as government leaders should now work towards honoring her and remembering her and making sure that the values that she led with are not forgotten.
Well, she wasn't just remembered for her role in government or her various roles in government, but she was also remembered for her political activism. Let's speak about the late Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize as a political activist. How was she remembered in this regard?
She was a student activist from a young age. Reverend Frank Chikane is one of the youth activists that worked with her in the fight against apartheid, and remembering the resilience in which she fought with and which she stood and standing firm in saying that we will continue to fight. And she continued that fight even in the years working in academics, because also that's a field that she was honored in. Today she also served as a lecturer, worked as a lecturer at the University of Witwatersrand, for example. So she was a champion also of education. And one of the civil rights groups that spoke at her memorial says whenever she spoke to vulnerable people, she would always encourage them to stay in school, saying that's one weapon that they can use to empower themselves in the future. So definitely her role in the fight against apartheid was highlighted today. Her role that she played in academics was highlighted today, and the various roles that she played in leadership in government. We know that she served as a Minister of Higher Education, Minister of Home Affairs, as well as Deputy Minister in various other portfolios. And the president saying that she sees her as someone who was very versatile, given the fact that she was able to serve with distinction in so many portfolios.
Now, Zikhona, before I let you go, we also got to hear about her long battle with cancer. A family representative spoke about her 4-year struggle with cancer. What did we hear about this?
So she was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, and at the time, experts told her family that she only has 19 months to live. Her husband also on the podium saying that is it ethical to put a time frame to someone's life and putting it to the president to say, when someone finds out that they have lung cancer, for example, as Professor Mkhize did, is it also fair to put onto them that they now only have this much time left to live? And then the experts advised her family that she should stop working in government. At the time, she had just been appointed as Minister of Home Affairs, and they simply refused. And you can see that she was a fighter, given the fact that she survived for 4 years up till now. So her resilience also being spoken about in terms of her work. We know that she worked right up till her final days. I think her last role as a government person was she was discharged from hospital 2 days before the voting for Speaker in Parliament. After being discharged from hospital, she went to Parliament. She said she simply cannot not go. Her husband saying that at the airport, they actually had to use a wheelchair to carry her, just to show the determination that she had, because her daughter says, even at the time that the riots, the civil unrest that we saw was taking place, her mother was sick. She had been in and out of hospital, but she went to Soweto to help with the clean-up operations. When the minister, Maitengwana Mashabane, was speaking at the memorial service, she said she found it very hard to try and keep her from work so that she could focus on her health, because she simply did not want to listen. She wanted to serve South Africa right through till the end.
Well, Zikhona, thank you very much for joining us in studio to speak there about the late Deputy Minister Hlengiwe Mkhize. She was being remembered as a spirited fighter, but also being celebrated for her various roles in government.